Ooh, does it now give you a choice about whether you want to stay in the meeting if it's live streaming? That's new. I mean, new to me. All right. Great. Susan Sisler, it's so nice to see you able to be on your computer. That's fantastic. And it's very lovely to see everyone else also, of course. So we have a special prayer book for right now being the month of Elul. Uh, and so there's just a few different readings and services, readings and blessings that we're adding in for Elul, which is a special time because it's our month of preparation for the high holy days. So, but before we begin with those, let's just take a moment and breathe. Take a deep breath if you feel comfortable doing so. Leave the week behind. I hope you're in a spot that is relatively cool and comfortable. If there's tension in your body, see if you can release it. Make space inside your spirit for Shabbat, a time of peace, a time of rest. And before we slip too quickly into the season of the soul, let there be a Sabbath of Sabbaths for the heart. Before the music of creation's majesty, let there be a silent praise of existence. Before the feast of sanctified words, let there be a poetry of solitude. Before we enter the palaces of prayer, let us find within ourselves a place of calm. Before we revel in the wondrous and sublime, let there be an honest inward gaze. Before the rites and ceremonies of awe, let there be quieter days, an island of attentiveness. Is there anybody who has candles ready to go and would like to do the blessing over the candles for us? Gail? All right. Unmute yourself. There's a reading on the screen if you'd like to do that first.
I honor the gift of stillness and rest, a day devoted to peace, peace within my soul. On this day, I have everything I need, peace with those around me. On this day, I seek no quarrel or strife, peace of earth and sky, green trees and quiet water. I give thanks that I am present in this world. I celebrate the miracle of existence, the breath within me, the beating of my heart, the love that blesses my life. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'chad likner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you, Gail. And we come to the Kiddush. Is there somebody who has So a beverage ready to go for Kiddush? Who would like to read the Kiddush for us? Be'anglit, in English?
Sure.
Go for it, Alan. Thank you. Do you see it?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam barei peri hagafen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who finding favor with us, sanctified us with mitzvot. In love and favor, you made the Holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among our sacred days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You chose us and set us apart from the peoples. In love and favor, you have given us your holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Thank you, Alan. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidasha mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. L'chaim. I did not mention that, you will have noticed probably that Noni is not with us this evening. She has been working very hard rehearsing for the high holidays, and so that is why she is not here this evening, but she is, fine. Two angels follow me home, chesed and gevurah, kindness and judgment, love and discipline. May both dwell within me, gentleness and generosity that expand my soul, firmness and self-restraint, the strength to say no. On this day of shalom, may I be shalem, well-balanced and whole. We continue with Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'lithilah. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי, אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. We continue with the Baruch Hu. I invite you to rise or remain standing if you're able. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Leolam Va'ed. I invite you to read with me. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta, al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu, uvkumenu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha leolam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu leolamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. In advance of the Shema, we sing Open Up Our Eyes. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. We continue with the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. If you have risen, you may be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. I invite you to read with me. Eternal, watch over my small domain of light and shadow, those few people who share my love and all others upon this earth that sometimes shakes with thunder and reverberates with lightning. Help us to live with fear and conquer rage, heal the hate that makes us kill and covers the ground with this Red Sea that only you can part, so we may all walk through the wilderness to your realm of peace, where all men and women are one, and sing your blessed name. Bye bye bim bim bam bye bye bim bam bye bye bim bim bam bye bye bim bam ay 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 bye bye bim bam ay 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 bye bim bam mi chamocha bailim Adonai mi kamocha nedar bakodesh norati loro sefele norati loro sefele malechutcha rauvanecha בוקי הים לפני משה זה אלינו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד יבאי בבים בים בם יבאי בבים בם יבאי בבים בים בם יבאי בבים בם ay 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 bye bye bim bam ay 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 bye bye bim bam ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Bless our sleep with peace, Adonai, and awaken us to life when we rise. With power sublime, spread over us your shelter of shalom, and through your wisdom restore us, make us whole. Let your name proclaim your presence in our lives, be our shield, make us stronger than the enemies we face, illness and war, famine and sorrow. and stronger than the enemies in our hearts, wickedness and sin. Carry us to safety as on wings, for you are the monarch of grace, the sovereign of compassion. You are the one who cares for us and sets us free. Watch over us, we who go forth to life. Watch over us that we may come home in peace now until the end of time. Baruch atah Adonai, haporeh sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed One, you spread over us a canopy of peace, a shelter of shalom over all Israel, your people, and over Jerusalem. V'shamru. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We have come to the tefillah, and I invite you, if you're able, to rise. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh Hakol, ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמנת להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Let's be seated. I invite you to read with me. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Eternal, our God, our people Israel yearns for your favor. Receive their prayer with loving acceptance, and may you always desire your people's worship. Divine One, close to all who call upon you, bring your grace and presence near to those who serve you. Pour forth your Spirit upon us, and may our eyes see your merciful return to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shchinato litzion. Blessed are you whose divine presence is felt again in Zion. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. We have come to our prayer of gratitude, and so I would like to invite anyone who has something they're feeling grateful for today to put that into the chat, or you can unmute yourself and say it out loud. So I see already that Alan has put in the chat that he is grateful to see Susan back, as I mentioned as well. Diane, and I also see you, Susan. Do you want to unmute, Diane?
Yes, I'm
Great.
grateful that my family is well, that my honey is doing okay, and there is peace on the block.
I'm
We'll
glad.
go on from there.
Okay. All right. Modim anachnu lach for that. Susan Sisler.
I am so grateful to be here just generally, to be here amongst the Bichette family. You guys have been so amazing to me over these past, it's almost 10 months now. And the phone calls, the cards, the connection, the homemade soups. I am just so grateful for everyone being so kind and caring and loving. I also just need to give a shout out to my family, of course, but in particular, my brother, Mark, who from day one, I don't know how I would have gotten through this without him. And so again, I am really grateful and happy to be here, and thank you. And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Susan, and we are grateful right along with you. Modim anachnu lach. So happy to have you back here and looking so good. Patricia says she is grateful that I and my family are back. She's grateful for a peaceful weekend. Robert Rothman is grateful for clean air. Karen Kramer is grateful that her great nephew is getting good medical care after surgery at Columbia Presbyterian. So he should have a refuah shlema Who else has something that they're grateful for that they would like to share? Linda Horowitz.
I am very grateful to have my rabbi back. Where have you been? I'm very grateful for Adrian, who really kept services together so beautifully, and for Diane Figueroa, and for all the participants. It was just wonderful. And I'm also grateful. Unfortunately, I did test positive for COVID, but I am now fine. And I am so grateful for the vaccine and that it is working.
When was that, Linda?
I tested positive on August 8th. So this was my first week out of quarantine. And I'm still home quarantining. I'm not going near anybody. I'm back to where I was before I had the vaccines. So, all right.
Well,
This
thank
too
God you're
shall
okay.
pass.
Well, thank God you're okay.
I am. Thank you.
Odim anachnu lach. Charlotte is grateful for friendship. Ruth.
Yes, I'm grateful to have John sitting by my side. John, in July, the month of July and August, had 4 coronary artery stents, and he's doing well. So grateful to have him here. I'm grateful to see you, Rabbi. You look radiant and rested. And I'm just grateful to be with the whole congregation.
Yeah, modim anachnu lach. I'm grateful to have people who are glad that I'm back. It would be too bad if you were like, you could have stayed away. Anybody else have something that they are grateful for? Well, I am truly, truly grateful for all of you and to be back with you. So let me share the prayer book again. For all these gifts, God of majesty, may your name come to be blessed and praised, our gratitude a daily offering until the end of time. And may all life resound with gratitude and faith in praise of your name. God, you free us and strengthen us. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose goodness deserves thanks and praise. Oh, Gail, I didn't see your hand up. Do you have something you'd like to add, Gail and Bob?
Okay, I was going to add, I had my 6-month cardiology follow-up today, and I got an excellent report. So, modim anachnu lach.
Modim anachnu lach for that as well.
I'm grateful for swimming pools.
Oh, excellent. Sure, swimming pools are great. We are going to continue now with our prayer for peace. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha livarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. tasim leolam. Baruch atah Adonai hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. And now we continue quietly. There are words on the screen if you can see them. I can make them a little bit bigger also. But of course, we can always use the words that are in our own hearts. Iyu leratzon imre fi vegion libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri vegoali vegoali. May the words of our mouths and the meditations in our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O God, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. We turn our thoughts now to those among us and those in our hearts who are ill and who are in need of healing of body, of mind, or of spirit. I will put our Misha Berach up on the screen when we are ready for it. But meanwhile, I want to stop sharing so that I can see more of you. If you have names for anyone for whom you are praying for healing this evening, I invite you to put those in the chat, and I'll also give you a chance if you prefer to add names aloud. This evening we hold in our thoughts and in our hearts for healing Jesse Sakharov, Ira Weiss, Elaine Drucker, Allison Plummer, Patty Ann Cubero, Rabbi Dara Lerner, Susan Sisler, Alan Fremer, Valerie Pace, George Landberg, Susan Bilecki, Dana Haitkin Nelson, Arlene Rosenthal, Michael Luck, Randall Rose, Arthur Rose, Barbara Weiner, Joan Lifshitz, Andy Glansman, Amy Juskowitz Soonseller, Ira and Deanna Roth, Roz Bornstein, Ingrid Grosso, Audrey Cohen, Brooke Sisler Elephant, Eddie DeAngelis, Ira Goldman, Vicki Lightnaker, Sarah Brooks Kamen, Nettie Trommer, Mia Gannon, Jeff Abel, Monica Beyer, Patty and Erwin Cohen, Gary Paperman, Myron Jacobson, Judith Weiss, David Gershon, Ronnie Katlowitz, Stephen Doppelt, Stanley Tenen, Fran Arnowitz, Dr. Usha Gorty, Paul Markowitz, Pat Colella, Delphine Wolf, Bill McShane, Irv and Dottie Tabakman, Harvey Barkin, Leah Madelon, John Belay, Liz Yasuda, Mark Steiner, Marion Mandel, Sharon Moskowitz, Nicole Moskowitz, Celia Karp, Mimi Karp, Anne Marie Rogan, Richard Zagam, and Joseph Martino. We include also Trudy Sudin, Beth and Barry Charles, Steve Fisher, Rosalie Epstein, Liz Clark, Iris Merlis, Maxine Breland, Della Cohen, Jody Siegel Stein, Saul Siegel, Sal Camiso, Lauren and Ian, Elena Aram, Chanel Kamabach, Warren Feliz, Jimmy Jenkins, Joanna Marie, Teresa O'Sullivan, Abraham Kalesi, those suffering in St. Vincent and the Grenadines Islands, also in Jamaica, Barbados, Guyana, India, Israel, and Aswan Taylor. Baby James Scarpulla, Elliot Woofsey, Suzanne Mishler Hernandez, Anne Marie Demetro, Nancy Kelly, Paul Moskowitz, the people of Afghanistan, and any folks who were wounded in the bombings right outside the airport this past week, those suffering from the earthquake in Haiti, Paul Markowy, Jeff Horn, Deanna Fazalari, and Shelley Samet, also Linda Kushner Silverman. Diane, who would you like to add? Diane Schenker.
Robin Schenker Power, Lester Schenker.
Mary Lou, do you have names to add?
I do. Ron Cricky, Laura Cricky, Estelle Altork, Eve Heyman, Brenda McBasey, Brenda Katroser, Art Torres and the Torres family. And I'd like to especially mention the family, loved ones, and friends of a good friend, Kim Henson. She died Saturday. She was 58.
I'm so sorry.
It was a shock.
Yeah. Alan?
Lorraine Zarrow, Eric and Monique Muzel, all those Americans and our allies who are still in Afghanistan, the families of those soldiers that were killed this week, and all members of the New York City Police Department.
Anyone else?
Stanley Tuttleman.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we include all of those, including those service members in Afghanistan who have been wounded in service to our country or to Israel, and those who have been hurt in other recent disasters that we didn't mention. Mi sheberach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom. So here we are, as I mentioned at the beginning of the service, in the Jewish month of Elul. And traditionally, this is a month of preparation for the days of awe, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. This is a time for us to begin doing our Cheshbon HaNefesh, the accounting of our souls, to prepare for the repentance and renewal of the coming season of high holy days. So in that spirit, let me first apologize to anyone who was disturbed by a phone call from me at 11 o'clock last night. Usually I record my Friday message on Thursday evening, and I set it to call everybody at 11 a.m. on Friday. And last night I made a mistake and I accidentally scheduled it for 11 p.m. last night. But I noticed right away the mistake and I canceled it. So then 11 o'clock rolled around and my phone rang and it was me. And it should not have happened. I don't know why it did, because I did cancel it. But I guarantee you I will do my best to make sure that never happens again. And again, I apologize to anyone whose rest was disturbed by that late night phone call. And very soon I'm going to remember how to do all of the things that I do correctly again. So that said, one of the traditions that is part of the month of Elul to assist our contemplation is the daily recitation of Psalm 27, which Ashkenazi Jews, some of them have been doing since about the mid 1700s. So I'm going to share that with you now. And I apologize, it is a little bit blurry. But I'm going to read it out loud so you don't have to be able to read it necessarily. So Psalm 27 of David. Adonai is my light and my victory. From whom should I feel fright? Adonai is the stronghold of my life. From whom should I feel terror? When evildoers approach me in battle to feed on my flesh, my pursuers, my adversaries, they have stumbled, they have fallen down. If a camp encamps against me, my heart will not fear. If a war arises against me, in this I would trust. One thing have I sought from Adonai, how I long for it, that I may live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, that I may look upon the sweetness of Adonai and spend time in the palace, that you might hide me in your sukkah on a chaotic day. Hide me in the hiding places of your tent. Raise me high upon a rock. Now my head rises high above my enemies round about. And in your tent I'll offer offerings to the sound of truah. I shall sing and chant praises to Adonai. Hear, Adonai, my voice. I am crying out. Be gracious to me. Answer me. My heart has said to you, seek my face. I am seeking your face, Adonai. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my help. Do not forsake me. Do not abandon me, God of my deliverance. For my father and my mother have abandoned me, yet Adonai gathers me up. Make your path apparent to me. Guide me in the upright road because of those up ahead who lie in wait for me. Do not hand me over to the lust of my adversaries, for false witnesses have risen against me, puffing violently. Had I not the faith that I would see the goodness of God in the land of life? Wait for Adonai. Fill your waiting with hope in Adonai. Let your heart be strong and of good courage, and wait hopefully for Adonai. So that is the psalm that one tradition has us read every day in the month of Elul. And as I read this psalm, to me, it expresses confidence, but also anxiety and doubt. For me, it fits so well with what we are experiencing now. Adonai is my light and my victory. From whom should I feel fright? Adonai is the stronghold of my life. From whom should I feel terror? For the author, Adonai does seem to be a supernatural being watching over him. And I say him because the Psalms are attributed to David, King David. We may not think of Adonai in that same way, but we may tell ourselves that we will be okay because we have enough money, because we try to eat well and stay healthy, because we trust science. I got vaccinated. Why should I be afraid? I wear a mask. From whom should I feel fright? I have protection. The next verses speak of what the author has overcome. Enemies who have not succeeded at defeating him. When evildoers approach me in battle to feed on my flesh, my pursuers, my adversaries, they have stumbled, they have fallen down. If a camp encamps against me, my heart will not fear. If a war arises against me, in this would I trust. One thing have I sought from Adonai, how I long for it, that I may live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, that I may look upon the sweetness of Adonai and spend time in the palace, that you might hide me in your sukkah on a chaotic day. Hide me in the hiding places of your tent, raise me high upon a rock. Now my head rises high above my enemies round about, and in your tent I'll offer offerings to the sound of truah. I shall sing and chant praises to Adonai. So we might phrase this section: when COVID came and endangered us, filling the hospitals with the sick and dying, we stayed home, we were careful, and we prayed for a vaccine. When the vaccine came, many of us got it and felt safe as in a sukkah, or we hid in our tents. Our heads now rise high as we venture out in gratitude, singing and praising. To me, this is the month of July, when we started to go out and started to feel that things were going to be okay. But now the psalm switches gears. Hear, Adonai, my voice. I am crying out. Be gracious to me. Answer me. My heart has said to you, seek my face, and I am seeking your face, Adonai. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my help. Do not forsake me. Do not abandon me, God of my deliverance. For my father and my mother have abandoned me. Yet Adonai gathers me up. Make your path apparent to me. Guide me in the upright road because of those up ahead who lie in wait for me. Do not hand me over to the lust of my adversaries, for false witnesses have risen against me, puffing violently. The Delta variant has come and we are crying out. We want to be protected. We want to be safe. But with the contagiousness of this variant and the waning effectiveness of vaccines, with people who refuse vaccines and masking, with so much of the world still unable to get vaccines, we are worried, afraid that safety and security will abandon us. And then we come to this very strange line. Had I not the faith that I would see the goodness of God in the land of life. And then it stops. The line is unfinished. That's how it is in the Torah. The Torah doesn't have ellipses, but the translator, in fact, most translators, recognize this as a sentence that trails off, that isn't completed. If I didn't believe that I would experience goodness in this life, what? What would happen if I didn't believe that? This might refer to believing in the goodness of God through the behavior of other people, like Anne Frank's belief, as she wrote in her diary, that people are still good at heart. Sometimes there are beliefs that are so fundamental to us that we cannot even articulate what would happen if those beliefs were shown to be wrong. I invite you to think about what it is in your life that you believe so deeply that you can't even think about what the world would be without that belief. For our time, one possibility is, if I didn't believe that this pandemic will sometime come to an end, but we stop there. We aren't going to think like that. We read the last verse, wait for Adonai. Fill your waiting with hope in Adonai. Let your heart be strong and of good courage, and wait hopefully for Adonai. We wait for the end of the pandemic. We try to fill our waiting with hope. Let our hearts be strong and of good courage as we wait, hopefully. Does the psalm work? In difficult times like the one we are living through and that this author lived through centuries ago, it is hard to wait with hope. It is hard to be strong and of good courage. One of the messages here is that we are not alone, that there is a caring presence of some kind, however we understand that presence, that can help to sustain us. We have been doing this pandemic thing now for a year and a half. And if you are like me, you had quite enough of it some time ago. We cry out, "Don't abandon us. Why must I still be alone?" And then perhaps we can take a deep breath. Remember that we have loved ones and muster up some hope and courage, and maybe fire off a message to our elected officials about what we think they should be doing, or gently encourage others to get vaccinated and put our masks back on. This weekend is called locally the Vaccine Weekend of Faith, a push for communities of faith to encourage members to get vaccinated against COVID. I believe that most of our eligible congregants have already been vaccinated and perhaps are even thinking about getting boosters now. For anyone who has not been vaccinated, I do encourage you to do so. The Pfizer vaccine is now fully approved by the CDC, not just for emergency use. Millions of people have been vaccinated with very, very few strong negative reactions, while getting COVID while unvaccinated is far more likely to cause serious illness or death than the vaccine. There is also in New York City right now a $100 incentive, and if we sign up as a community, every person in our community who gets vaccinated, the synagogue also gets $100, which, by the way, I would be happy to add to your $100 and pass the bounty along. As you know, we have opted to move our services almost entirely online again this year, which was a wrenching decision. And I am so sorry that we felt the need to do it. But in order to keep our service leaders and our community safe, this is where we are again. And it is hard to remain hopeful, to be of good courage. We learn from the psalmist of Psalm 27 that even when we have faith, we can still have doubt and fear. So let us understand that it is okay and normal not to feel okay, to be angry and sad, and to have moments of despair. Let us then bolster our hope and our strength, support one another, and go on with faith that we will get to the other side. Amen and Shabbat Shalom. We come to the Aleinu. Our mission is to plant ourselves at the gates of hope, not the prudent gates of optimism, which are somewhat narrower, nor the stalwart, boring gates of common sense, nor the strident gates of self-righteousness, which creak on shrill and angry hinges. People cannot hear us there. They cannot pass through. Nor the cheerful, flimsy garden gate of everything is going to be all right. But a different, sometimes lonely place of truth-telling about your own soul, first of all, and its condition. The place of resistance and defiance from which you see the world both as it is and as it could be, as it will be. The place from which you glimpse not only struggle, but joy in the struggle. And we stand there beckoning and calling, telling people what we're seeing, asking them what they see. If you're able, I invite you to rise for the Aleinu. Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Let's be seated. We turn our thoughts now to those who are no longer with us, our loved ones who have died in the past days or weeks or months, or in past years at this time of the year. Let's see if I can... I don't know if anybody's going to be able to read the yahrzeit list. You know what? I'm going to make it bigger. And in a little while, I'll scroll it down to the rest of them so that you can see. I'd like to invite you to add names in the chat of anyone for whom you're saying the Mourner's Kaddish this evening. And we remember those who have died in the past year. George Liss, Sylvia Tishkovich, Ellen Belofsky, Cindy Retagliata, Dolores Weinberger, Suzanne Leknos, Shirley Kafker, Lillian Ridley, Thomas Marinin, Meg Goldate, Marguerite Romeo, John Young, Isadora Frost, Fred Perlman, Bob Ira Kleinberg, Dorothea Schüring, Peter Brandenberger, Lloyd Ricketts, Ellie Heimlich, Sherry Burns, Terry Singer, Henry Kuhn, Lily Zimmett, Bob Perlman, Ira Berkowitz, Bayumi Mohammed, Amy Zisovic, Mary Holland, Dorothy Webster, Robert Allen Santos Sr., Robert Bonenfant, Barry Strumpf, Judy Epstein, Dorothy Mason, Judy Panzer, Barry Ween, Charlotte Brown, David Schachter, Douglas Maines, Devorah Lewis, Tria Sapir, Jane Evans, Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs, Manny Pastor, Ruth Rubin, Harris Reese, Emerson Berger, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Caroline McNamara, Marion McGivney, Ronnie Turek, Jay Roseman. Still not bottom of the list. Perry Cravett, Louisa Espute, Alexander Musel, Nina Moynester, and I'm told to add Roberta Hayrath to the Kaddish list. Was she on the Misha Barach list, Diane? Yes, okay. Thank you. We add, of course, all of those who were killed in the attack in Afghanistan, the bombing outside of the airport, which that included 12 United States service members and many Afghani civilians. those others who have been killed as they have tried to flee the country as well. Ellen Georgia Goldbrenner, Deanna Roth's cousin. Does anyone else have any other names to add? Or I want to mention also those on our yard site list who are relatives of congregants. Paul Blattberg is on our list. He was Karen Eichel's brother. Robert Feinberg was Barbara Wasserman's brother. Linda Kaplan was Amelia Dantrone's mother. Joel Kushner is on our list this week, Linda Kushner's beloved husband. And Lillian Shankin, Phyllis Schweiger's mother. Mary Lou?
My dear friend Karen, I'm sorry, my dear friend Kim Henson. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have names
Yes,
to add?
Sharon, my niece Sharon Moss is on the yard site list. She was very special, very, very dear to me.
Rabbi,
Yes.
on the list is David Noah Sugarman, a very long time trustee of the Old Temple Beth Emeth.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Rabbi
Yes.
Otorowski, thank you.
So much.
All right. We also include all of those who have died around the world, whether or not they had anyone to say Kaddish for them, and whether they perished in war or famine or terror or disaster, including the earthquake in Haiti and other natural and human created disasters. If you're able, I invite you to rise for the mourner's Kaddish, or to participate according to your own custom. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to the bereaved wherever they may be. And let us say, Amen. Let's be seated. At this time, I'd like to call upon our president, Adrian Knoll, to give us the announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Rabbi, welcome back. And I want to let you know that those training sessions you held for lay leaders prior to your vacation were not just an intellectual exercise. People really stepped up. We had people leading and people singing, and we had people doing Devar Torahs. And, you know, everybody, I think, really found it a rewarding experience, and it gave them a chance to see, you know, how the sausage is made, or if you're, you know, pork averse, seitan or something. But I think everyone really had a great time. So I just wanted you to know that. And yeah, wonderful. Thank you tonight to Gail and to Alan for doing the honors. And tomorrow we will resume at 9:45 for Biyachad, led by Rabbi Hoover, followed by services at 11 o'clock, followed again by Slichot at 8 o'clock. And Slichot is always a beautiful, beautiful service. The music is just gorgeous, and the readings are great, and we'll have the installation of officers. I'd like you to know that when Alice had asked me for the list of officers, I had accidentally left myself off, which, I have a tendency to do, but whatever. And then we will return here next Friday night for poetry. Are we having poetry next Friday night? Poetry next Friday night at 7, followed by services at 8. Shabbat Shalom. We'll see you all on Zoom tomorrow, I hope.
Shabbat Shalom, and thank you. We are going to close with Olam Chesed Yivaneh. It's a pretty simple tune. You may already know this from other things that we have done, so please do join in. Olam Chesed Yivaneh, da-da-dai, da-da-dai, da-da-dai-dai. Olam Chesed Yivaneh, da-da-dai, da-da-dai, da-da-dai. Olam Chesed Yivaneh, da-da-dai, da-da-dai, da-da-dai. Olam Chesed Yivaneh, da-da-dai, da-da-dai, da-da. I will build this world from love, da-da-dai, da-da-dai, da-da-dai. And you must build this world from love, da-da-dai, da-da-dai, da-da-dai. And if we build this world from love, da-da-dai, 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 then God will build this world from love, da-da-dai, da-da-dai, da-da-dai. Olam Chesed Yivaneh, da-da-dai, da-da-dai, da-da-dai. Olam Chesed Yivaneh, da-da-dai, da-da-dai, da-da-dai. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine on you and be gracious to you. May God lift God's face toward you and give you peace.